the black ancestral perspective of Akhenaten is very different, or Akhenaten is very different from the European perspective. They praise him, he's this, he's that. But the black ancestral perspective, Africans, we don't view Akhenaten like that. No, we don't like him. We don't talk about him like that. And if coincidentally, when I went to Kemet, when I went to Egypt, the Akhenaten was one of the only statues I saw that had the nose fully intact. Everybody else's nose was blown off, but they're like, we're gonna keep his nose because they love him so much. But from a black ancestral perspective, he did not follow divine will. He went against it and was taken out. First Ka we're going to talk about is the Sekhem Ka, the Sekhem scepter. This signifies divine authority, divine legitimacy, power, a divine commitment, an oath, a religious oath to becoming a better person, a better being. The three scepters that we'll be talking about in regards to Sekhem will be the Abba Sekhem, the Kerp or Karp Sekhem, and the Sekhem scepter from Nubia, the Kenti Ma Sekhem, the lion scepter that Apitamach holds. Let's get into it. When you read the text about the Sekhem scepter or the Kem scepter, you find that it has this relationship, at least in Kemet, with Empu, so-called Anubis, and Heru Kenti, or Heru and Kenti Ma'al, Heru, so-called Heru the blind. We have to understand from a physics, a science perspective, why sound would be this signifier of power, of divine legitimacy. When you look at physics, even when you look at religion, before light ever happens, you have sound, or heh. The first sound from the Hebrew, the Kabbalists, they say that the first sound was heh, divine spirit. And we see this H sound of heh also in Kemet. It's in the Hu. Hu means divine authority. This was in the original 14 card list that Budge created, where he talked mostly about taste, but it actually has to do with the divine authority of the king. And that authority starts with sound. Now, why is sound the original power? We'll look at the development of babies in the womb. One could argue the first image is darkness. You could argue that. But really, the first sense that you have is sound. As you're developing, as you internalize, signifying spiritual development, as you internalize, curled over, and your whole body, your nervous system, your thought, everything is developing, you are most influenced by the sounds of your mother's voice, your father's voice, the voices of those around you, and the heartbeat. So sound is shaping you. This is one of the so-called secrets of the weighing of the heart, judgment seen with my eye. Your deeds being weighed is not just your speech, it's also your heka, your ability to manifest reality of your words or speak it into existence using the heka. And the heka is what? The first word. Ka also means power. And we'll talk about that call later on. So the origin of power is sound. Mastering sound is the ultimate signifier of power and divine authority. Let's get into the practicality of government. The Kep Sekhem scepter is associated with the high priest. That will be more associated with the queen mother or the pharaoh, the ruler of the land, as doubling as chief priest and leader. We see this also in the Akan Ashanti kings. The Abba Sekhem has to do with the commander, the general, the military leader of the nation. And the Kenti Ma Sekhem down in Nubia is pretty much synchronizing both of them, also even leaning a little more to the warrior aspect, as you know that the warriors, Sut, Set, Sutek, the Nubians are also the warriors. This relationship between the legitimacy of the kingship or the government and the military is a very intimate relationship, as we can see today, causes massive amounts of problems. How does the CIA and other intelligence organizations destabilize governments? They go to the military. And even in countries where people talk about corruptions, usually has a military dictatorship, meaning that the people who control the arms, the weapons, the forces overrode the government, the king. And that opposition, that competition is always there. And this is in the aspects of Set or Sutek killing Osir, destroying the legitimacy. And the fight between Heru and Set is also this fight between who is said to legitimately rule and who wants to rule because they have the power and the might, the armed forces to rule. Remember, the story of Heru and Set is not just an abstract mystery or mythology. This was actually political times that were happening in ancient Kemet. Because Kemet Kush was a confederation of different African groups, different black tribes or smaller black nations that unified together to form this confederacy of Kush Kemet. And when you look at Yoruba, Zulu, and other African groups, these are the smaller groups, the Dogon, these are the smaller groups that left either intentionally or by force, that left to go to other places of Africa, but all represented different aspects and the different tribal cultural points that unified in ancient Kemet. When it comes to government, as we see today, there's always the danger that the person, Set or Sutek, who has the might, has the arms, is going to try to take over the government. There's always the danger that the person in power or the people in power and government will try to misuse the military to put forth their own power or oppress the people. And so in African government and black ancestral government, you have systems that are in play. And the main system that is in play to ensure that there is a balance of power is the harmonization of the great ancestors and also of the religious commitment. And that's what the Sekhem scepter is. It is a religious oath, commitment that you make to Enter, to a particular Enter. With kingship, it's usually Heru. It could be Sekhmet. It could be Sobek Ra, whoever is that kingship Enter based on that time or that space of Kemet. It could be the Enter of the age. You make a religious commitment to Enter that you are going to honor and do your best and become your best and live righteously by the people. And so the commander, the leader of the armed forces with the Abba Sekhem does the same. So now it's not about my personal interest or your personal interest. It's about the group interest and about the universal, the divine will. Not my will, but thy will, the divine will. And so if I mess up now, I know it's not really on you. It's on God. It's on the ancestors who are going to correct me. People wonder why Akhenaten didn't live very long, why he was taken out very quickly. And even why he was not challenged by some of the people or even the forces that should have been there to challenge him, because they knew that he was going to get taken out because he was doing was not aligned with the divine will. What he was doing was not aligned with the divine will. From the black ancestral perspective of Akhenaten is very different, or Akhenaten is very different from the European perspective. They praise him, he's this, he's that. But the black ancestral perspective, Africans, we don't view Akhenaten like that. No, we don't like him. We don't talk about him like that. And if coincidentally, when I went to Kemet, when I went to Egypt, the Akhenaten was one of the only statues I saw that had the nose fully intact. Everybody else's nose was blown off, but they're like, we're going to keep his nose because they love him so much. But from a black ancestral perspective, he did not follow divine will. He went against it and was taken out. Back to the government piece. When I make a commitment to Enter, it means that now my salvation, my issues are now, and I'll talk about it in real terms. In my marriage, even before we were married, in my relationship, to correct my own behavior when I was messing up, or to come to a compromise, I would remember, you know what? I made a commitment to Bast. I made a commitment to Heteru. And you know what? I don't want them to have a problem with me. I don't want them to be mad at me because I don't want that wrath. I don't want that problem. And it also goes with my children as well. I want to, being a warrior and keeping your energy up and building your energy is a little bit of a challenge when you have family. It's a little bit of a challenge when you have family. You see it in the stories in the Yoruba of Ogun when he gets married. There's a little bit of a challenge. So me knowing that, hey, I can't bring that energy to my children, otherwise Boss is going to get me. Not Sekhmet, because if Sekhmet is coming to collect, and I'm done already. I'm finished. I'm going back to the spiritual world if Sekhmet's coming to get me. But Bast has a wrath too. She's also a warrior. So me making that commitment to Bast means that I'm also, that religious commitment to being better and cultivating myself means that it's not personal. When my wife says something or does something that I take personal, that I will take personal, there's a certain part of me that's going to say, to transcend this, to come to a order, to come to stability, I need to make sure I'm maintaining my commitment to Bast. Back to the religious authority with the government, that's what the Abba Sekhem and the Kerp Sekhem is all about. The leaders of the government and the leaders of the armed forces make a pact with Ter, make a pact with God, make a pact with the great ancestor as an accountability metric and tool to ensure an orderly society. And we also see this with the Akan, the Santihini, the king, and we also see the leader of the Asafo, the armed forces in the Akan as well. This next Ka that we're